Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Dalmar, together with my co-host Mark Ronich of Statewide News Service, jbiztechphilly.com. And as you can see here, now columnist for the Jewish Press.
Right, and I'm having a lot of fun doing all of that, and my column in the Jewish Press is called Albany Beat, and I talk about how government relates to the Jewish community or doesn't, as the case may be. Well, one of the people who really relates to the Jewish community is from Guilderland. He's our guest, Paul Miller, an Albany County Legislator, who has Shabbos House in his district on Fuller Road. And the SUNY campus, you have Indian Quad in your, so that's also
Which just literally cuts the SUNY? I mean, you say Indian
Well,
Quad.
the SUNY is between Albany, the Dutch, 2 dorms in Dutch and the Quad, the Indian Quad are in Guilderland. And the rest are in City of Albany.
Really? It cuts off?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And the arena, the Suffolk Arena is in this town of Guilderland, but
Right.
no voters there. But
No, but it's something to be proud of.
yeah.
You know, especially when you have a winning team at the Great Danes.
That's
are
right.
A winning team.
Yep.
You know, I always tell the university police that, you know, when they have a dog canine unit, they should have a Great Dane as their canine. Okay. So anyway, you're a freshman legislator. You were just elected this year. You defeated an incumbent. So you really hoofed it out there. So how's it going? Is this the dream? Do you like being the county legislator?
It's a lot of work, a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be, as I got involved with some legislation like right away. We had a law that was, they were proposed by Tim Nichols last year to raise the age of tobacco sales to 21 in Albany County, and he wasn't reelected, so I kind of got left with that bill because some of my voters had asked me to go testify for it in the fall when Tim brought it up, and it wasn't passed at that point in time, so I got the lead on that, and we did get it passed, and there was a lot of work to get that passed, and
Well,
it also was signed by the county executive.
I was actually surprised that the majority leader let a freshman legislator take the lead on such an important bill.
Well, I guess because I testified on in the fall, and Tim Nichols had recommended I take the lead on it, so I guess that's why he decided to do that.
Okay. Well, were you proud of this moment?
Yes, I was. Yeah, very proud, and it was a lot more work than I kind of expected when I got into it.
Well, Tim did come and
Tim came and testified on it. Yes, that's
to offer support in public comment sessions. So
yep, he did. That's correct.
that was
Tim
interesting to see him as a former legislator come back again to the same chamber.
That's right. We switched places.
That's right. So,
What's your background to get into the politics? I mean, what motivated you to get it, to be an Albany County legislator?
Well, I've been a committee person since the early 90s in the 15th Ward in Albany, and so I've been involved with a lot of campaigns, not for myself, but I've been other people, campaigning for other people for many years, so I've been involved with politics for a long time, and I just decided that it was time to take the step. I used to work for the Department of Labor, and when I was working there, I was under a Hatch Act, so I couldn't run for anything anyway at that point in time. But now, since I've retired, I could run, and the opportunity came up, and I decided to run.
well, it didn't really come up.
Well, I made the opportunity.
It's
yes.
not like it was an open seat.
That's true. Yes, you're correct.
You kind of,
Yeah.
what was your predecessor was Mary Lou Connolly. What was she doing that wasn't right, that inspired you to want to challenge her?
Well, a couple of things. One was her vote against the nursing home, to try and privatize the nursing home, and I felt that wasn't right. I think that we need to take care of the residents in the Albany County, and that nursing home serves a niche that's not necessarily served by the privately run nursing homes.
How old are you?
How old am I? 62.
62, okay. So you're nowhere near needing to go to a nursing home.
Well,
okay.
you never know. I've
Okay.
seen some people that have been younger than me that have been in
Okay.
nursing homes, so hopefully not, but yeah.
Just making sure that wasn't why it was close to your heart.
No,
Okay.
that's not why it's close to my heart. And the other thing was I just felt that she lost contact with the voters in the district. When I went around and talked to some people, they didn't really know who she was, a lot of people.
They said Mary who instead of Mary Lou?
Yeah, well, I won't quote that. I'll let you say that, Mark.
So were you finding that out, that they were saying, I didn't know who, I mean, I can go down my block in Albany and they wouldn't know who my county legislator is.
Yeah, that's pretty common, I guess,
So-
throughout the whole county, but that's not the way I feel it should be. I've been a committee person for quite a while, and most of the people in my district know who I am.
Okay, for better or for worse. They
For
know
better or
you.
for worse, you're right.
Okay.
So-
So you went through some really difficult years if you were a committeeman since the early 90s, because the 90s were the heyday for the Republicans
Yeah.
in the town.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get elected dog catcher as a Democrat. So
Yeah, that's true.
now you turn things around. So.
Yeah. Well, the Democrats have already pretty much controlled the city, so I mean, and that's where my committee district is actually in the city, in the 15th ward. That's where
Oh.
person, because I'm kind of like, my house is like right on the city line, basically. So when I get to the end of my driveway, you're in the city of Albany, so it's kind of like a weird place, but my property is all in town, Guilderland, so that's where live
Right,
around
because
here.
I did notice that this line is right up against Frank Camisso's district.
That's correct, yeah.
So maybe that's why he let you take the lead on the,
Well, maybe. So I've been a committee person for Frank, for all those years.
oh, you have?
Yeah, right. Frank, the 15th ward is Frank's ward, so that's,
Right.
so I've been, so we're kind of pretty good friends. So
Oh, so that could be, okay.
That
Well,
could be
that
why,
explains it then.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't realize that until
Yes,
now.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
there you go. You just
Yeah.
kind of figure these things out.
Yeah.
So maybe Frank was just, didn't like Mary Lou, or he wanted a challenger, and maybe that's why he prompted you to run,
well,
or
that could be a little bit of that.
a little bit of that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's what happens when you take on the majority leader and you get him angry at you.
I suppose.
Okay. So now you have your wife Ellen, four children, 8 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild.
That's correct.
At
Yep.
62, you're a great-grandfather.
Yep.
That's just amazing. I just
Yeah.
can't believe,
Yeah,
How
well,
old is your great-grandchild? Don't tell me 14.
No, she's 8, but she's
8?
right from my stepson, so, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I consider them all my children.
I hear
so,
you.
yeah.
Okay. So, and you said that you were telling us that you had one of your 4 children who passed away.
That's correct.
Yeah. I'm so sorry for your
February,
loss.
yeah.
My condolences. I didn't know
Thank you.
that.
Yeah,
How recently?
February.
Okay. Of 2016.
Yeah.
Did the county legislature take notice of this?
Yeah, a lot of the legislatures came to the service and stuff, sure.
Because, that was as you were battling, this
Yeah, it
smoking
was.
law.
Yeah, it was a
right
little,
in the
kind
middle
of,
of
yeah,
that.
that
so,
made it a little tough, but yeah. So.
How are you doing now?
Doing okay, it's still, pretty raw, so.
A parent should never, outlive
Yeah.
or outlive a child, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, but,
Okay, so you have any words of consolation here?
I always have words over here, but you should only know from, happy occasions and there's a merit of helping out the public, it says, of just making people better. So for that merit, that should serve in your son's good stead
Thank
in
you,
the
Brad.
next world.
May his memory be a blessing.
Thank you.
I wanted
Back to
to,
business over here.
yeah, what committees are you on in the
I'm
county?
on elder care, mass transit, audit and finance, and personnel.
Mass transit, though, okay.
Yeah, that's why Carm knew who I was, because he was at our meeting a couple of months ago.
I'm just saying, you brought up the nursing home, and we've had, Mark and I don't know if we have all, but just about the majority for sure, if we're majority people of Albany County legislators. So we were up on it on our show and hope our
And we had
viewers
Larry
watch it.
Slatke on as a guest
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, Larry's
I mean, he
a good
says
guy.
that he's really turned everything around. Before it was, maybe there was an idea of saying, hey, get rid of this, is losing us $8 to $10 million a year.
I've heard some numbers even higher than that. but
Really,
yeah.
but whatever, but now he really, so you would think, let's dump it, I mean, you could think why a legislator would want to dump it, but now since he turned it around, it's not such a burden on the
That's
Albany
correct. Yeah,
County
they
budget.
brought down substantially the deficit. But
So he's done a good job there for that. Well, again, it's good for the older people.
yeah,
Yeah.
How many people are there? Because my wife, who's working on an MSW, said in a very high number of beds in the Albany County nursing home. What's there, like 200?
it's like 220, I believe.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
quote
she
me on it.
came-
But
yeah, I know,
so-
but she
somewhere
said a
around
higher
there, yeah.
number. I says,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I know from my TV show, we're
Yeah.
always interviewing people.
Yeah.
It's a few hundred people.
Yeah, I believe it's capped at 250 right now because of the Burger Commission. So that's at one point in time, there were more beds there at one point in time, and they also had the
Maybe
Ambly.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ambly.
maybe the potential or something,
Right.
they could have more.
But they have 220 of the 250 beds filled.
I believe so,
Okay.
and somewhere around
In
there,
that range, yeah.
around that range. Yeah.
And they-
Larry could tell you a lot better.
And Albany County takes people in from other counties.
They
You just
do,
don't have to
yeah.
be an Albany County resident to go
That's
there.
correct. Yeah.
Have you toured the facility?
Yes, I've been over there several times.
Okay, you're not checking out a bed for yourself?
No, no.
They
Okay.
keep on
No,
putting
but I
like
wanna
him an
make
old
sure-
man over here, leave him alone over
No, I
here.
just want to
I
make sure
just
things are
joking.
going good.
I
No, that's
tease.
a- Yeah.
Listen, if I could be 29 years old, you could also be over here, you got a lot of years out.
So where do you, so when you toured the facility, I mean, you saw all the aspects of it. What was the, what were your impressions? Was it some good, some bad, or?
Yeah, I mean, the staff seemed to be very dedicated there. There's a group that they have that, family group that they have that meet like once a month or every couple of months that, are very dedicated. I don't know if you've been down to county meetings, but there's people that come down there almost every month to talk about the nursing home from that family group. So if you've been down there, I'm sure you've seen them. That's probably the thing that, really, that I'm most favorable about, because I've been to other nursing homes. My dad was at Our Lady of Mercy, which is also a nice nursing home, but they don't have that dedication of the family and, to advocate for the nursing home there that they have at the county nursing home.
Really, the Albany County Nursing Home, you would rate it as better than a private facility?
In some aspects, maybe.
Some aspects, yeah.
It
I mean, I don't
depends
know,
what private facility.
Yeah, it's,
Well, not every.
Certainly not
Yeah.
Daughters of Sarah,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it has its good points and its bad points, and there's, things that we're still working on to try and get it in a little bit better shape, because there was quite a few years it was kind of neglected, and, that we're working on. And also, and Larry's been working on trying to get use of there's some space in there that's not being fully utilized now, because when they put the Burger Commission in, the one where they reduced the beds statewide,
consolidation and all that, yeah.
they reduced the number of beds they could have there, so there is some space in there that's not being utilized to the full extent. And as they renovate the floors, they're going to use that as a staging area, and then hopefully at some point in time, they may use it for, senior housing or whatever they decide is the most appropriate. So, but they can't use it for nursing home beds.
It's just
but,
the senior citizens, it's just a booming industry. I mean, they say because that was the,
People
You know,
living longer, so it's.
living
Yeah.
longer
Yeah.
was the baby
Yeah.
boom, after World War II. And after World War II now, I mean, they're 70 years old. I mean,
Right.
Okay, so you said you were on the Elder Care Committee,
Yeah.
the
Transportation.
Mass Transit, what else?
Audit and finance and personnel.
Okay, audit and finance makes sense because you spend 34 years in civil service accounting and auditing positions.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you saw the county budget this year, did you look at it really, were you surprised that, oh, this is out of whack, this isn't out of whack? Or, I mean, you can basically do the controller's job, right?
Yeah,
Or
I
you could be
suppose.
that
Yeah.
other checks and balances, you might say, for what you'll know if the controller's giving us lip service or not,
Right, and, I did look at the budget. I wasn't intimately involved with it this year because I wasn't on the Audit Finance Committee when the budget gets approved in the fall, but I did, look it over, and I attended the hearings and stuff that they had, so
So you're going to be more active in
Oh, of course, yeah. Because
developing
now
this?
I'm on the Finance Committee, so
Right.
now I have to, it'll be my responsibility to actually approve the budget, where last year I
And this
didn't
is-
have any say on it. I mean, other than,
This is one of those things that really gets your blood flowing. This is,
Yes,
this is exciting for you.
yeah, numbers are my thing.
So that's great. So I'm hoping maybe you could find a way to lower property taxes, county property taxes.
Okay,
So-
well, hopefully we will, but, the county property taxes are a pretty small piece of your overall tax bill.
Well, right. Well, also, the biggest part of the budget, I guess, is Medicaid.
It is, yeah, and that's, pretty much out of our control unless the state wants to come up with something to do. There's an awful lot of unfunded mandates on the county that, it's one of the things I intend to work on during my term, is to try and get the state to reduce some of those unfunded mandates. And it's not just on the county, it's on a lot of other, I'm a volunteer fireman, and I've seen unfunded mandates being dumped down on the volunteer firemen's also
And they
departments.
tell you some new regulation that everybody has to
That's
Every
correct.
fire
yeah, yep.
department has to,
Yep, I mean, they've increased the training substantially to the point where it's almost, to the point where they aren't gonna be able to get volunteers because they're up, the firefighter one class, which is the first class that the firefighters take, is over 125 hours now. I think it's almost like 150, but I don't know exactly how many, but
Yep.
it's a lot of hours for somebody that's a volunteer to have to, all of a sudden, you decide to join tomorrow and they say, okay, fine, here you go, and now you have to take this course for 150 hours. I mean, that's a lot of time, particularly for somebody who has a family to commit, and that was done by the state. And
Well, how many hours, 47 years ago, when you were there, when you first got into the,
Well, I've done a lot more than 150 hours training, but it was split in pieces.
Right.
They had Essentials of Firemanship, which was probably 36 hours, and then you go on to another one after that, and then, as you keep building on it, but, to hit you with one class and say, this is the first class you're gonna take, and it's gonna be 150 hours is just, pretty, unnerving. And they've done the same thing with the EMS services where, when I first took the EMT class when I was in college, it was like 45 hours. And now I think it's probably about close to 200 hours, the EMT class. So, it's just, it's fine when you have paid staff, they're gonna get paid while they go take the training, but when you have volunteers, in particular up, and not as much in Albany County, but when you get up in the North Country and stuff, it's, it's
Yeah.
even harder. They're
there's
so
less
spread
to
out.
do in the North Country, so they have more time to do the volunteer training.
Well, yeah, but it's also a lot more spread out. So, so you may have to go, 60 miles to get this class on top of the hours that you have to take, so that's,
So let me, so your volunteer firefighting time was with the North Bethlehem Fire Department.
that's correct. Yeah.
Does that serve any of your district?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Bethlehem is not in your district.
No,
right?
but North Bethlehem covers part of the town of Guilderland, part of the town of New Scotland, part of the town of Bethlehem. So my house is in North Bethlehem Fire District,
Okay.
and my parents,
there's a lot
my
of
parents live in
crossover. I know
North.
Guilderland, people say, oh, I live in Guilderland, but I go to this school system and
Right.
Schenectady, I
So I
can't
wanted to
remember.
ask
like-
about,
Yeah.
and you're also on the volunteer with the Western Turnpike Rescue Squad.
I had been, but right
Oh.
now Western Turnpike is no longer volunteer. So, but
No, it's
I've
paid?
been out of that for a while, but I was.
I didn't realize that they,
Yep, they've gone completely paid now. So,
okay.
yeah.
And now you're an Eagle Scout and currently serving as an adult Boy Scout leader?
Yes. I got one of my grandsons in Troop 2 in Albany. They meet down St. Andrew's Church. So.
So do you get dressed up in the Boy Scout uniform?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Keeps you young, I guess.
Yes, yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
do you know how to tie all the knots? And
Yeah.
all right, well, then you could certainly do something with that in the county legislature. Maybe you can get them to be recognized in the county legislature because the Boy Scouts do a lot of good.
Yeah, we've had our scouts down to, I had them down to one of the county legislature meetings a couple of months ago, because I'm also a merit badge counselor for citizenship in the community, which one of the requirements is to go to a public meeting. So we had them down there for a county meeting. So
Maybe they'll return, maybe not.
they might. No, there'll be other scouts there. They show up at different
And then
things.
you did something that you went on, you took the minimum wage challenge.
Oh yeah, that was back in back in March before they passed the state budget. What it was to live on the minimum wage for a week. So you had to budget all your money in each day. Figure out whether you stay within the budget or not.
So after taxes, on the current minimum wage after taxes, $13.86 a day?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And they took out, it's a little bit, they also took out for housing. So in other words, they took that off the top because they said you have to pay for housing. So that was the money you had to spend to
Right.
buy your food
So
and
this
stuff.
was a net?
That's what you had left to
net.
buy food and stuff,
Right.
yeah.
So most people who are on who have minimum wage jobs, I guess, might not be in a fire training class in Slingerlands and have to travel as much as you did because you wrote
Right.
on your Facebook page, I think
Yeah.
it was, or somewhere I found it, where
Yeah.
you said that you were finding it difficult because
Yeah.
you purchased $8 worth of gas to get you
Yeah.
through.
Well, I tried to do it, make it as realistic. Obviously, I could have filled up on Saturday night and, wrote it for the week, but, I tried to, so I had to go out and buy gas. And,
On the other hand,
yeah.
the other,
So is it when
other
it-
side is just like living as a teenager. Obviously, they're living for free at their parents' home. And
Right, but
maybe having a dinner, there, so really, what do they I mean,
That-
paying
you're-
for room
you're-
and board.
But there's a lot of
Right.
adults living on minimum wage
Yeah,
also, and they
yeah,
have 2,
yeah.
3 jobs and minimum wage
Right,
jobs.
yeah,
So,
and it's, and the
So-
health insurance has gotten really bad.
so can you live on the current minimum wage? Did you find that you could, or
I made it
barely,
through
or-
the week. I couldn't, I don't think I could live on it permanently. No, I
Well,
don't
you would
think
have-
there's any way. I mean, I did make it through the week, but,
But you'd have to adjust your lifestyle
you would,
accordingly.
that's for sure, yep.
And you'd
you'd
have to
use
do,
probably public transportation. I mean, and I did that, and I ran. I don't know if I put it on Facebook, but I ran into like I had a county meeting one night during that week, and I took the bus down, and when I was going to get the bus to go back up, 2 or 3 people stopped and said, "Do you want to ride?" And I said, "No, I have to take the bus back." And I said, if I want to ride, I would have taken my car down. So,
no, but if you,
yeah,
but if you had the
yeah.
right, I mean, but there are people on minimum wage who carpool and who are
Well, there are,
offering
but I
rides,
mean,
and-
this was, I wanted to stick with what I would have had to do if,
Did you ever try the food stamp challenge?
no, I can't say I have. I don't know.
Well, you should try that and see if
Yeah.
you can live on what they give as food stamps, and try that as an experiment. See how that.
Yeah, well, this was something they were promoting to try and get the bill passed, so that's why they were signing up. I wasn't the only person who did it. There was other people in the county legislator who did it,
Oh, really? Yeah. Who else did it?
and statewide.
If you know offhand, if you don't, that's.
I'm not positive, so
Okay.
yeah.
So, so now that the minimum wage is eventually going to go up to $15 an hour, is that, and by the time it gets to $15 an hour, it's only going to be worth $13 an hour.
Yeah.
Is that going to be livable? Or does it have, is a minimum wage supposed to be a livable wage? Is it
Well-
supposed to be just minimum wage, just so to get you, I mean, it's not.
I think a
it's
couple
two
of things
different
need to
things.
happen, and probably one of the biggest things is the healthcare system needs to have some revamping on that. I mean, it's not, I've, been involved with a couple of the unions that have had problems up at GE where they're increasing the health insurance costs for their retirees. Verizon went through a lot of that. Right now, Honeywell is out, or locked out the employees out there. And a lot of this stuff revolves around the health insurance. That their employers just keep, wanting to jack up the health insurance because it's costing them a lot more. And something needs to happen on federal level probably to control the cost of the health insurance so that people can live on the wages that they're getting.
Are you a big union guy?
I don't know if I'm a big union
Well, were you
guy.
part- were you a steward? Were you-
No. I'm a PEF retiree, a member of PEF, but for quite a while I was working for the state, I was in Management Confidential, so I mean, I don't know
Okay.
that I can say I'm a big union guy, but I do support workers, and I think that people should be able to earn a living that supports the middle class, and I think in a lot of cases, a lot of that's going away now, and I'd like to see that come back to where people can make a decent living. We lost a lot of the manufacturing jobs, but they weren't replaced by good-paying jobs in a lot of cases. They were replaced by service jobs that are paying minimum wage in a lot of cases, and it's just really hard to raise a family on that
On the other
wage.
hand, just the businessmen are actually, as you say, Jewish kvetching, complaining about, that their, profit margin is so small as it is. I mean, it just goes both ways, I
Right.
guess. You got to
Yeah.
listen to everybody. I mean, people are
That's
trying to
correct,
make a
yeah, yeah.
business.
Yeah, and I have friends that, particular friend, which I won't throw him under the bus, but who
No
called
pun
me up
intended.
and, he's a fellow fireman and, he runs a small business and I do understand that issue, but also there's a lot of large corporations that are making a lot of money and their CEOs are being paid substantial amounts and they're saying they don't have enough money to pay their employees and that's something, there's got to be a middle ground there
Yeah,
someplace and,
definitely.
Well, are you happy with what was passed? And
Yeah, I think it was a compromise, and I know you said it's going up to $15, but upstate it may not make it up to $15 because of the compromise that they made in there. Downstate will be up to $15 an hour, but there was I think it's like the third or fourth year, whatever it is. I don't have all
that
the
it's
facts in front of me.
tied to it's tied to inflation or something, or?
Well, they come back and they review it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not automatic where it goes up to $15 upstate. So
Well,
Yeah.
they just want the political pressure,
yeah, right. That's,
It's a game.
yeah, it is.
So what did we not ask you about that you'd like to talk about that we didn't know enough to ask you
Or
about?
the big issues in front of the Albany County Legislature coming up.
Well, there's one issue that I've got which kind of affects Shabbos House also, is the Laughlin Street Sandwich Way. I don't know if you're aware of the rezoning that's coming up in the city of Albany.
No, I don't know. Tell us
Okay.
about it.
Sandwich Way?
Well, they're renaming it to Sandwich Way.
Oh.
I don't know if
Oh,
I'm pronouncing it right.
Standish?
Sandwich Way.
Oh, it's like after the philanthropist.
No, it's
Standish?
after a family that moved there back in
Okay.
the 60s. There was a black family. It was one of the
Oh.
first families that lived on that street.
Okay.
And they want to name it after them, but that's kind of a side issue.
Okay.
But anyway, right now it's called Laughlin Street, and
Yeah.
but they changed, I believe they just changed the name at the last common council meeting. But anyway, they want to put apartments in there, 5-story apartments in there, and there's been a lot of controversy within the
Where would
neighborhood.
it be, a little more specifically?
Laughlin Street is like almost across from Shabbos House.
Yeah, pretty
really?
much, yes, on the other side
Shabbos
of
is
Fuller
for
Road.
the viewers, is on Fuller
Fuller
Road
Road,
between Western and Central.
Right, and yeah, it's a little bit up towards the traffic circle from Shabbos House, but it's on the other side of the street. And
Would
basically,
be too dense, what would be the opposition?
a lot of, yeah, it's
Too
pretty
dense.
pretty dense. It's going to cause more problems with the traffic on Fuller Road. They're talking 173 apartments in there, potentially 300 cars.
And they have, and it's for SUNY Poly?
No, it's a,
No.
that's what everybody thought was going to happen. Right
it's
now, they want to put private housing, market rate housing in there, is what they're telling you.
So this 5-story apartment buildings are going to be for, not student housing, just for everyday Albany residents?
Pretty much. I mean,
people-
you know, there may be some students that rent there also, but, you know, that's not the intent that the
No,
developer's saying.
but it
you know.
could be good for Shabbos House in that they have their students closer to Shabbos House. They can walk to services instead of drive, and that's what we hope for, you know,
Okay,
so.
well,
So you're for it or against it?
I'm against it because I think it's going to be, I think it's way too dense for that property. It's only a 5-acre piece of land. They're putting 173, they want to put 173 residents on that. Not people, but apartments, I should say. There's going to be a swimming pool there. There's been problems, and I know Shabbos House had problems with the drainage in that area when they first built that.
Right.
There's issues with that, you know, adding this on, and what they're proposing is that the drainage coming off there is going to soak into the ground, which I don't.
Right,
I'm not
but
sure how
Shabbos
it's-
House in the town of Guilderland, they were zoned for the issues that the town of Guilderland decided were issues for Shabbos House.
Right.
The city of Albany is they're going to decide about Laughlin Street, right?
That's
Why-
correct,
Why
yeah.
City of Albany?
Because
Why
it's on the
that's-
border, it's just
yeah.
on the, across the border.
Yeah.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, but what I was getting at is that the drainage may cause problems with Shabbos House. I know they had to put in a retaining pond there
Right.
when they built it. Now, when you start dumping more water on that, that may cause problems. And a lot. That's really what the neighbors are concerned about, is that the water. There was a house that had the basement collapse a few years back from groundwater.
How does the basement collapse when
From
it's already
groundwater
the
pressure.
basement?
The pressure of the groundwater on it, the blocks go in on it.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
you
that-
think of a first floor collapsing to the basement, but you don't think of a basement collapsing
No,
to
when
something.
something pushes in, sometimes
Okay.
frost will do it, but this was just the water, it
Right.
pushed that wall in. There was so
Wow.
much pressure on it that, you know, it collapsed to the
All
basement.
right, so you're fighting the good fight with you're going to talk before the Common Council, Albany Common
I've
Council?
talked there twice already, but, you know, I expect
Okay.
I'll probably be back there
And
again.
maybe there'll be a compromise. I mean, maybe they could lower instead of 175 units, less units.
It's possible, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know. You know, there's some of the neighbors that don't want anything. They want to leave it as single family. I mean, you know,
Right.
it's the neighborhood. I mean, it was part of my election district at one point in time. I was a committee person over there, and I knew the people lived there. And then they changed their districts around, and it was no longer. But you know, when I was back there, there was wild turkey in there. I guess they're gone now. But you know, there was a story a while back that. This turkey was chasing the mailman, so they ended up putting mailboxes all along Laughlin Street because he wouldn't get out of his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
they
don't know
put
what
it by
he did.
the curb and they-
I'm not sure what he did to the turkey, but for a while he wouldn't deliver the mail even, so they made him put mailboxes in along Laughlin Street. So,
All right, well, in
That's a
any
good
case,
trivial
we're
story,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, yeah.
we're out of time right
okay.
now.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to have to ask you back after
Yeah.
you have another session in the Albany County Legislature, but you're doing good work for the people of Albany,
Okay.
Albany County,
Thank you,
and
Ron.
continue and do it with good health.
Yes, continued success.
Thank you.